All right. Excited for the start of another big week. Got a big ball game this Saturday in Philadelphia against a very solid Temple football team. And looking at the film, and I know they've had ups and downs this year. Really impressed with the play of the guys that they have returning, especially the same roster that we faced last year. I know they've had some adjustments there at the quarterback position. And then there's some new faces in the running back room, but the defensive line, stand-up players on both sides, offensive linemen, a lot of the same guys we played against last year. Very solid group. So expecting a big test this weekend. The big focus for us is continuing to improve, continuing to develop throughout the year, and that's a daily thing. Our focus today is to work very hard at getting better today, execution of the game plan, continue progressing towards game day.
Coach, what do you feel like this team has gotten better over the last few weeks, and what's the big focus of things that you kind of can correct that are correctable coming into this week's game with Temple?
Well, I mean, I think that, throughout this season, we've continued to improve in many areas. Continue to be, pleased with the play of our offensive line in the run game, the play of our backs there. Continue to be pleased with our defensive front and, inside linebacker group. Things we've got to do better. I think we've got to do a better job this week taking care of the football than we did last week. Turnovers hurt us last week. I think we've got to continue to improve at the skill positions on both sides of the football. And I think that, we got to continue to push to try to, win the special teams phase. I think that's going to be a critical part of the game this Saturday.
Coach, it looks like you guys will have to move some guys around at safety with Saba potentially being out and losing some guys the last few weeks. Just talk about that position and kind of working some new guys in there and also counting on, Juwan coming back and everything.
Well, I just think, this time of the year, it's, both sides of the ball and special teams as well. You're going to have some bumps and bruises. You have your normal challenges that you have each and every year with, having some guys, in and out of the lineup late in the season. You got the added, factor of COVID protocols and, have some guys, missing from time to time with that. It just kind of fits in with what 2020 has been. You're going to have to, you had to be fluid throughout the year. You're going to have guys playing, in different spots, but it's still within the same scheme. And there is some carryover. I think we do have some solid guys at other positions that can help us out at some spots we're short on. And talking about Juwan, it's been great to have him back the last couple of weeks. He's certainly I don't think he's quite 100%, but he's just doing a great job of taking care of his body. He's doing a great job of mentally being there every snap and then maximizing the snaps that he's getting.
Coach, you had a short week last week, but maybe the back end of that is, you played Friday and then Temple played Saturday night. Just wondering, how did you handle Temple's game Saturday night? Did you just kind of personally watch the live TV broadcast, or did y'all kind of break it down either Saturday night or the next day? How did you handle maybe getting that extra day for this week?
So I think the big thing was, especially getting back, 5-something a.m. Saturday morning, it was making sure everybody got a little bit of rest, first thing Saturday. We did watch the game Saturday night and then came back in the office, early Sunday morning and spent, Sunday morning breaking down the Temple UCF game from the night before. I think the advantage for our players is, they got Saturday and Monday kind of a rest day. We had a light practice on Sunday, so we should have our legs back underneath us for practice today. And that's the biggest concern for me right now at this point in the season, is making sure that we're fresh and that we're ready to go, at the beginning of each week.
Coach, watching Temple, it seems like their defensive front is just as good as ever. I guess how much of a concern is that with your O-line kind of banged up right now?
Well, I mean, I think it's a concern. It was a concern last year, and it's basically the same guys. Had one guy leave, but Archibong, is just an enormous kid, and was a great player for him last year, and certainly remembered him. And so I was disappointed to see him, on the film again. We started seeing him this year, but great player. I expect him to see him playing on Sundays here in the very near future. I think number 9, who was number 88 last year, I don't want to butcher his name, but is a great player again this year. 17 is having another great year. And then they have the grad transfer, number 12, at the other defensive end from Wake. They're a formidable front four. There's not a weakness there. And so we've got to do a great job of number one, being fundamental, whether it's run game or pass game and everything that we're doing. We're going to have to play at a high level. We're going to have to execute at a high level. And then we're going to have to do some different things scheme-wise, to try to combat those guys and, give ourselves better opportunities.
Temple has had COVID issues, obviously. I think their coach came out yesterday and said he maybe wouldn't have liked to play the last few games because of that. I mean, how do y'all handle that? I'm assuming you just have to progress it, and you're hoping that you actually get to play Saturday. Is there any concern or doubt that maybe the game might be in that window to get called off or anything?
The thing, we're all battling stuff this year. We're all battling COVID issues, and we're all battling injuries and things of that nature at this point in the season. I know that, a few games back against Tulane, you could tell that they had a depleted group. The last couple of games out, though, they've had their guys. And I'm sure he is more sensitive of it than I am, because he's thinking about depth guys, special teams guys. I just look up and I see those players that he has at the skill positions on offense. I look up and see the linemen that he has out there. I see that defense. I see those running backs and how they play. It's a very talented group that we're watching on film from last week's game and from the week before. So, none of us have, we have not had our full roster for a single game this year. We've had multiple players out every single week, and that's part of 2020. And I know he's frustrated. I'm frustrated. We're all frustrated, but at least we're getting to play. And, we're intent on playing the game Saturday in Philadelphia.
Are there any other questions for Coach?
Yeah, hi, Mike. I cover Temple for Al's Daily. Curious about your preparation for a freshman quarterback who, there's a handful of plays that you guys, I guess, are getting whatever information you can. Do you have staff who even would go back and look at high school tape, or do you have familiarity because he was from not too far down the road?
Yeah, I mean, we recruited his brother when I was at James Madison, so I'm familiar with, at least with his family. I know the high school very well. We have his film from high school. We've taken a good look at that, and then we've taken a look at every snap he's played this year. Certainly talented player coming out of high school. Runs well, lefty, strong arm. Very accurate. I thought he had really good film coming out of high school. I thought in the latter part of the game against UCF, I thought he showed some athleticism with some of the runs that he had. I know that they were probably trying to be pretty conservative with their play calling there, but with a week under their belt to develop a game plan for him, I'm sure that they'll have a package that he can run, at a very high level. And, we've had that experience earlier this year when, we started a true freshman against Navy. So, I can relate to what they're going through right now. But, like I said before, he's got such a strong surrounding cast. It's going to be a challenge for us. We're going to have to do a great job Saturday. I'm sure that they'll have him prepared to play at a high level.
Is it a stretch? I mean, physically, I think a little bit is similar to Holton, maybe an inch or two shorter, but thick.
Yeah, a little bit shorter, but runs well, throws the ball with a lot of zip. Certainly, I'm more familiar with Holton because I see him every day. But I think that you're talking about a dual threat guy that's a good athlete that can throw the football.
Thanks.
Okay, are there any other questions for Coach Houston?
Yeah, I wanted to get a question in for Coach J.B. Ricks from Spectrum News 1. Coach, you said a few weeks ago, I believe it was after the Tulsa loss, where you guys kind of got robbed out of that one or whatever, and you had been preaching to your team to keep working hard, and the results would come, and you said something along the lines that they were looking sideways at you at that point. I wanted to see if you could give us a pulse of your team right now, a few weeks later, where we're at now after a few more losses. How are they responding to you now? What is the pulse of your team as you go into the fourth quarter stretch of your schedule?
I think very positive attitude. And I think that's, a credit of the culture that the players have helped us create within that locker room. My speaking to them looking at me sideways is, everybody saw the last drive of the Tulsa game. We all know what happened. That's supposed to be the reward for, doing things right is you come away with a huge win against a top 25 team, that we had it taken away from us, in the locker room. And so that's far in the past, nothing we can do about that now. We faced, two pretty challenging opponents the last 2 weeks. I thought we did some good things Friday night against Cincinnati, but at the end of the day, we made too many mistakes and they took advantage of them and we weren't able to come away with the win. So, like anything else, when you're in the middle of what we're in the middle of, you move on to the next game and you focus on, doing things right today. You get up today, you eat breakfast, you got final exams right now. So we got guys taking care of academic responsibilities, taking care of our bodies in the training room. We're getting ready to focus team meeting, go out, practice at a high level, execute, be coachable, compete to be the best, post-practice, get treatment, watch film, get a good solid dinner, take care of your academic responsibilities, get a good night's sleep. And that's our focus every single day is that championship lifestyle. Because doing things right consistently over time, this team is going to continue to develop tremendously. You're talking about a very, very young team that has a tremendously high ceiling. So, you just focus on development and every single day trying to be the best that you can be. And, that process over time is what creates that solid football team, like the one we just played last Friday night, like the one that Temple has had year in and year out, over the past, 8-10 years.
So just to follow up on that, you have no concerns about your team giving up on the season, regardless of what your record is, and knowing that you guys can get something positive out of this for the final 3 games of the season?
I mean, I thought we competed very well the other night, Friday night. I thought we played hard. We were playing with physicality. We made mistakes. We got beat. But the kids continue to compete at a high level. They continue to have a positive attitude. As soon as we finish this call, I'm gonna walk into our meeting space, our very large meeting space, not our team room anymore because of COVID-19 in the year 2020. And it's the job that they have done, just handling everything throughout this year is, very impressive to me. Is it easy? No. But it is it's the hand we've been dealt, and our players continue to have positive attitudes and work hard every day.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
Having said that, what would be the positive of going ahead and getting a win? What would it do for your ball club coming into the last game of the season after this one?
Well, I mean, I think both of us and Temple, both, you're sitting here where, you've had so much adversity and, you keep competing every single day. I think both clubs go into this game Saturday. Both of us, are going to compete at a very high level. Both teams are going to play very hard. One of us is going to come out with a big win, and that's going to, be something to be celebrated in that locker room and just kind of, put a boost of energy back into, the players on that roster, whichever one of us come away with it.
Coach, thank you for your time this morning.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Okay.
Good week.
Thank you, Coach.